are we coming out of Babylon? For Babylon is falling. And the Father's calling his people out of that harlot and all the daughters of the harlot, Circe, of the Roman Apostolic Catholic Church. And we're coming out of it and all its doctrines of demons and all its false hearsay information of changing the word and changing the words of the Tanakh and the Torah, and turning around and manipulating words to prepare people to, since for a few hundred years, to be a part of that system of what they call the globe world, the ball basketball.
Right.
And so we greet you in the Shem of Yahushua. Hallelujah. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, brother. I just give Yahuwah thanks for every day that we can learn more, and for bringing us to the truth, brother. For us not to compromise the name. For a long time, our ancestors did not do the Shabbat because they did not know of it. They did not call on the Creator's name because they forgot His name. It reminds me of, when the Israelites went into Mitzrayim, and then
right.
And they asked Moshe, well, who is it or Moshe told him it's Yahuwah that sends me. Anyways, it's kind of like I believe we're coming out of our Babylon, out of our Mitzrayim, even today, and so we're calling on the name.
And
the name is so important.
And we're sojournings in a strange land they call the America now. They morphed it into the word America, and we're part. This system has a calendar system of Babel, and has the whole.
Right.
They call Washington D.C. the Washington District Goddess of Columbiana system, and of course the system is rigged, but the system's getting broken and getting exposed, and we are exposing the rigged system of
right.
using the fake it till they make it words to
right.
get people to gravitate.
This leads everybody astray, though, brother. The fake it till they make it. The words and the names that are not true, they're not kodesh. And it's literally Satan has used this to lead the whole world astray.
Right.
For many generations. Many generations.
Yeah. And it's a slow process.
Right.
We got to see in our own lifetime evolution come into the school system. We got to see the school system being taken over by the government.
Right.
It went from a Christian they call the Christian building was used to teach the adult basic education in the late 1800, early 1900. Then it got taken over by the government system, and before then it was mostly tutors, or people were paying people to tutor their children. You know
right.
what I mean? To learn adult basic ABC, they call it adult ABE, Adult Basic Education System,
right.
which is like 0 to 8th grade. And then they went back to work in their farms. Half a yom, they work in the farm, and half a yom they went to school. And then eventually the government came over and made it mandatory, and made the public school system. So if they were paying the bill, they had to control. That's basically
right.
what it is. Now the Catholic Church, back in the old days, they're the ones that controlled the school system completely.
Right.
100%, the parochial
right.
school.
Right.
You had to pay the Catholic Church to go to school, or you weren't going to get an education.
Right, right, and all of this stuff is if you read about history, you'll find out where all of these teachings of rabbinical and of Catholicism, where all the rules and everything came from, and they came straight out of the Word. A lot of these they used the Word in order to manipulate the system. Okay,
right.
so it's kind of hard to see through the veil unless you are calling on the name of Yahuwah, and you're calling on the name of Yahushua, and the Father and the Ruach HaKodesh is able to reveal things to you. Then you're walking into the light, and the veil is coming off, and you're able to see, what the truth is. But I believe, brother, that if you, and I may be wrong, but I believe that if you don't call on the name, that you can have a level of truth, but not all the truth. And we want all the truth. We want to believe only what's true. We don't want to there's things that before, when we were in a Christian walk, or whatever you want to call it, we were some of us were never Christians. Some of us were atheists. Some of us were just different things, and we're just coming to the name. There are levels of truth. Like, if you've never killed anybody, then you have a level of truth, because you're
a foundation moral in your heart.
Right.
That's not right to do.
Right. Or if you've never, whatever, if you've never committed adultery. There's many people out there that are atheists that have probably never committed adultery. So even though they're atheists, they have some kind of truth. But we want the whole truth.
Right.
And for us, we were calling on the J-Man and calling on God and all these different mighty ones, not knowing the things that we know today. So we're not trying to offend anybody by talking about these things all the time, but I think they're important. I think it separates us from everybody else. How many places can you go to today? I'm just going to say this. How many places can you go to today where the name of Yahuwah is written on the outside of the building?
Right.
Literally, whether it's Catholic or whether it's or Judaism. Have you ever been to a place that says this is the temple of Yahuwah and Yahushua HaMashiach? Have you ever seen that?
No,
I haven't.
No.
Have you ever gone ever gone to a synagogue or a messianic temple or a Catholic mass or a born again Christian mass where they're up there saying, and Yahuwah said this and Yahushua did that? No, you can't do that. So that it separates us. It separates us.
And we want to greet you all as we're sharing this with love.
Yes.
To all the goyim, the sojourners, because you're in a sojourner of truth. You're trying to find the truth. You're on a journey. You're not a gentilis, a Gentile, a Catholic word, made up word. And you're not, you might be feel stranger, a Gorim, a Germanite, like the sons of Moshe. Sons were Germanites and everything. He named his son a stranger because he was a stranger in a strange land. You know what I mean?
In a foreign land.
Yeah,
Right.
and they called us a Ger, and I said, thank you for calling me a Germanite, because they became Levi.
Yeah.
Right.
They did become the Levites.
They did.
Yeah.
They got grafted into the house of Arion.
Right.
So, and if you are interested in what we call the tabernacle, dome covered, a garden plot earth that we're going to share about, because we're interested in the calendar, and you might be a flat earther, you might be somebody that is maybe a researcher, you might not even be a Christian, you might not be a Yehudi, you might not be a Hebrew Israelite, you might just be a researcher trying to find out a little bit about the flat earth or a little bit about the correct calendar. Our research is leading us to expose the false words that have been planted by the Catholic Church and inherited lies into the Christian community, where the Christian community went from Reformationists to Protestant to different denominations. And I've shared this in my other writings that in the last 100 years, since 900, most of the denominations today, the major, are offshoot, cookie dough, push out, all new. Calvary Chapel's brand new. Pentecostalism's not even 100 years old. It might be a little bit close to it, from Azusa Street, a little bit over. There was a different form of apostolical type of that type of Pentecostalism. The Church of God and Cristo was late 1800 to early 1900. They went through a transition of keeping Torah, the commandments, and the Shabbat, and they went right back to this sun god day worship. So we want to get to the root of the language, because in order to read this map of the calendar, we got to understand the way the earth really functions and how the sun comes out from the east side eastward to its westward circuit, as we studied last week, the round revolution, circular motion. All right, not going in and down, up and down in this ball thinking. All right, so it's basically having a renewed mind and renewed in the spirit of the mind, and we want you to have that, and we share it with you in love. And as my brother was sharing, we're sharing it with you in love. Okay, we are not a part of the Christian community. We're not, because we're Israelites. If people watch us, they're either Hebrew Israelites, they're followers of Yah, they're Messianic of some form, they're Nazir, Nazoraim. Most of our associates are part of the work of the Nazoraim, or the Nazir, or Nazir in Hebrew, as we say in Hebrew, other than Greek, Nazarene. So we're a part of that camp of understanding, introducing the correct words and language to be Kodesh, because we refuse to call on Hail Zeus. We're not going to call on Jesus,
right.
the Hail the Zeus.
Right.
We already got videos on that, and you can go back and check those videos out. And we're not going to call on no other mighty one but the mighty one of Yisrael. Okay,
right.
And so if you first discovered us and you just popped in, and you're in part 6 of Nimrod, part 6 of the exposing the words of sun, moon, stars, world, earth, all these words. We're in part 5 heading. We're gonna finish it up and cap it up with the word down and up and eastward and rising and rise and all the history of those words that all come around the year 12, 1300, 1500, because they were preparing us. You see, Hashatan they call him, but his name is Ha'el or Masdema. These principalities have been around since a long time. They've been around watching us since the dying of the garden, okay? And they have a long-range sight. They can see far away, and they can start something 300 years ago, 500 years ago, and start the brainwashing of words to get you away from the Shemitic Paleo into the modern Yiddish.
So they have an agenda.
They have an agenda. The enemy has an agenda to get you brainwashed. Do you think that the sons of Noah were brainwashed that quick? It was a few hundred years, and of course they were living 100, 200, 300.
It was gradual.
Yeah.
Because people are not going to immediately accept, it took us 40 years for myself, 40-something years to get to the point where I'm at, because I was raised up in a different kind of culture, and if you would have just thrown all of this to me at one time, then I wouldn't have accepted.
Right.
And people are like that. So their agenda goes over time from generation to generation until eventually they complete it. I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's perfect. And so what we're going to do is last week I showed you the different maps. A brother brought me one from 1920, and we had one 1905, and we have these different maps. They're encyclopedias in the libraries. I showed you the maps. You could go to these bookstores and find old encyclopedias or geographical books and try to find something dated 1890 something, 1905, 1910, 1920, and you're going to find a flat plate-like dish Earth map with an ice wall, polar wall all around it, okay, with the center of the north. So you're going to find that, and then all of a sudden, when this fake it to the make it system from the UN flag that's right in our face, and the educational system gradually, with gradualism, assimilated us to think of this basketball Earth.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it wasn't always like that.
No. Just like evolution was in my time when I was in school. I was sharing this with my grandchildren visiting in California. I said when I went to summer vacation, I came back one day, there was monkey pictures on the wall, missing links and all that. It was the new science class. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Teaching evolution all of a sudden. It took a while to get in the public school system and make it mandatory in the United States.
Right.
And even in Christian schools and parochial schools had a mandatory accepted.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And if even that kind of history, if you read the history on that wasn't the only time it was tried. It was tried even before that.
Yeah, the days of Rome, the days of different philosophers.
So there's nothing new under the sun.
Nothing. So we're going to go to Yeshayahu, Isaiah 59:19. And we're going to, let me shift now. Excuse me, bear with me. And we're sharing this in love to you. And even if you're not a Christian, or you're not a Hebrew Israelite, but you're a flat earther, and you're trying to see what you're taking your time and checking us out, because we're trying to get into the root source of the Nimrod Baal world sun worship, the heliocentric system that started way back then, and then reappeared with the Roman Apostolic Catholic Church, and reappeared with this fake it till they make it basketball planet to fake the calendar and get everything out of whack, and got us believing, as we showed last week, that the Sanskrit writings uses the word moon as NASA. It's NASA in Sanskrit writings, okay? For the word moon, we were breaking down last week all the different words for moon, English, German, whatever. And the Sanskrit writing, it was NASA, NASA. Okay, now we know that's an acronym, but it's just so many a coincidence. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and look at this word. Let's read it in ISR first, and we want to show you the gates of going in and out of the gates.
Okay. Right.
And we give you some helpers, and then you could send us some corrections. Some people have been very wonderful to send us information and given us some good information to respond to our information. Very few negative plugins, mostly very positive. We want to give you our information, that you can share us our information, your information to us to you. And we're not trying to make it, the Messianics only got the real calendar. Michael Rood only got the real calendar. MCA only got the real. The Rabbinicals only got the real calendar. The Pharisees only got it. The Hebrew Israelites only got. We realize that a lot of us don't have it. We have a piece of the truth, but not all of it. And part of it, you're looking at the system of a ball, and not the earth and the sun, or Shemesh, and the way the brilliant one is spinning around like a record player. So, and you're not looking at the gates at the right timing. So we want to share with everybody and open the door to people for in and out, because we know that the Zadok Kohanim are the ones that watch the calendar.
Right.
There's a lot of name it till they claim it. They really believe they're Zadok, but they don't have the fruit of it. The fruit of it is not in their blood and the actions, and they don't even have the bloodline. And I believe the Father will allow only the bloodline. And if not, He will immerse them in the Ruach in such a way, his DNA will be converted into a Zadok. Like I believe many of us, our bloodline has been transformed, born from above, and regenerated, regened with a new bloodline. So we want to let you know that. So let's go ahead and read from the book of ISR first, chapter 59:19.
Okay. It says, "And they shall fear the name of Yahuwah from the west, and His esteem from the rising of the sun, when He comes like a distressing stream, which the Ruach of Yahuwah drives on." Now
we're going to look at it, OJ. Okay. And OJ says, so shall they revere the Shem of Yahuwah. Isn't this contradiction? The Shem Hashem. Come on. The name of the name. No, it's the name of Yahuwah. From the Ma'arav west, and his Kovad from the rising of the Shemesh, when the enemy should come in like a Nahar, flood, a river, the Ruach HaKadosh of Yahuwah shall lift up a standard against them. Now this is a very popular verse among Christians in the Christian community that are active in spiritual warfare, this verse. But they don't see something we're about to show here. So in the King Amos version, so shall they revere the name of Yahuwah from the west, and His esteem and splendor from the rising of Shemesh. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Ruach of Yahuwah shall lift up a standard against them. Now, the point I want to make here is this. When you see here from the west, the word the, like I was sharing last week in Isaiah 41, does not exist. You only see in Hebrew the word mini, which is used as a Hebrew filler word, and you only see 46:28, which is marab, 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 marab. which is the sense of shading the west area, the region of the evening, okay? So it's not sunrise or sun, it's westward, it is the evening, it's the shading place, okay? And his esteem and honor and splendor, and then look at here, got from the again, and the only Hebrew word is from, and rising 42:17, Misrab, which is again, it is, they say sunrise, but we looked at it last week that the word sunrise is from anywhere. Sun is 900, and then sunrise together in the English form or German or Scottish, other forms, or in Latin is from 13 to 1500. But it's westward or eastward, okay? So in this one, rising will be eastgate or eastward, all right? And so they put the word rising. Now remember, the word rising alone is from 13 to 1500, okay? 1300 to 1350, okay? And sun was from 900. So rising, in actuality, in the Gothic language, rise, R-S-E and R-I-S-E and R-I-S-E-N is from the year 1000 CE. And that's Gothic and also Germanic and Old English. Okay, rising or raised up or rising started coming in the language in the year 1150 and 1200 CE. Okay, so we know when we look it up here in the Strong's, they added those words. They're not there, okay, in the original Hebrew. They're just not there. They can't be in the original Greek because they're not there. Because Greek, I showed you last week, use different words, and it's similar to the Hebrew of a circuit, a rotation, okay, a circular round motion. So it's a different understanding. By putting these words in our minds, now look what it does. Of the sun. Let's look at it's not there. Those are English fillers. It's just the word shemesh, shemesh, shemesh. When enemy shall come in. So there's certain words that are not even in there, and they filled it in. Now, if I were to switch to Hebrew here on chapter 59:19, you won't even see those English filler. It's very simpler. It's almost like the Native Americans. Son, come here. No, oh son, would you please come here and watch your step in between? No, son, come here. Real simple, 3 words. Hebrews like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Very basic.
There is a website. I just want to say this for all of you who are brother is a studier of each, and he'll study every word. But for all of you who are studiers like that, there is a website that has the English translation in the exact order that the words are given. It's got Hebrew with the English translation, and all of the little of, the, that, and all of that is gone.
It's not there.
Yeah, it's not there.
Those are filler words. So when a person says, my King James Bible is the... Come on, man. This is 5 times old to new King Amos version. All right? And they had different words. It's really actually hard to read. I got the 1604. I got the original 1611 and 1636, and also going into 1670 something. And you can see the transitions of corrections because it was so badly penmanship, so bad of the words they'd use. So I wanted to show you this to give you understanding of the Marab or Marabah, the shading of the west region. That's basically what they're saying here. From the west, and the esteem of the honor, splendor from the rising of the Shemesh. So basically in Hebrew it would basically be the Marabah or the Marab, the shading of the west region. They didn't say going down. It didn't exist.
Right, no.
It didn't exist.
No.
Okay. So I wanted to get that out of your brain so you can have a basic understanding. When we start showing the calendar, we're going to do our best to correct ourselves, and we're doing to see this right words. We're going to go to Malachi now. Malachi.
Okay.
Chapter 1, verse 11.
It says, from the rising of the sun even to its going down, my name is great among nations, and in every place incense is presented to my name, and a clean offering. For my name is great among nations, said Yahuwah of hosts.
And of course, in the next verse, he says,
but you are profaning me in that you say the table of Yahuwah is defiled and its food is despicable.
so when we start contaminating and using L-O-R-D, G-O-D for the Elohim, because we know that Elohim is more of a title description, like we would say grandfather or father or something like that, or dad or mother. It's not a name. His name is Yahuwah. And so as we looked at it from the rising of the sun even to its going down, we're going to look at it in the OJ.
Yeah, and the next verse, I was just going to say, the next verse, it kind of says, it says, but you are profaning me in that you say the table of Yahuwah is defiled and its food is despicable. Oh, and you said, oh, what weariness. Why do we have to call him by the name of Yahuwah? How come we just can't say G-O-D and the J-Man?
Or Adonai.
Yeah,
or
what is
Adon.
wrong with them guys? Those guys are crazy, man. They're so critical, and they want to just, they get mad if you say the J-Man or if you say G-O-D. Oh, what weariness. You know what? That's just too much for us. We're not ready for that.
Right.
Okay.
And see, and the reason why, because the good spell, they're under a spell. And right now, if I pray in the Shem of Yeshua and agree with you that the spell of gut and the gut spell will be broken, because in the scriptures it's the bezorah or bezuas.
Hallelujah.
It is the pluralism, the Tov news of atonement, the Tov news of redemption, the Tov news of the Pesach, the Passover. That's the message. It is not the spell of this deity's gut. We break the spell off of you and your family in the Shem of Yeshua. We command the good spell to be broken in the Shem of Yeshua. And if you got family and loved ones involved with this, in the Catholicism and other religions of the daughters of the harlot daughters or of the Christian community, you start breaking the spell of that thing in the Shem of Yeshua.
Yes, and have a reverence for his name. When you break the spell, then you have a reverence for the name, and so you want to say the name right. You don't say, oh man, what weariness, and you don't sneer at it, and you just keep reading that verse. We're not going to go through the whole thing, but keep reading that chapter. And you'll see what I'm talking about,
right.
What Brother's talking about.
Now we're going to read it in the OJ, from the rising of the Shemesh even unto the going down. Now even this is incorrect, which I'm going to show you. Of the same, my name shall be Kodal among the Goyim, and in every place incense shall be offered unto my name, and a mikah te ta'orah, for my name shall be Kadol among the Goyim, says Yahuwah Zevos.
Gadol means great.
Right.
Great. Like the Kohen Hagadol, the great.
The high great rabbis. Great one. That's what rabbi means. Great one.
Right. That's literally what it means. That's why he said you only have one rabbi. You only have one great one.
And that's
just one.
Yeah. Yeshua. And now let's look at the King Imus and we can do the breakdown. And from the rising of the sun, look at here. From, again, the does not exist, and rising. 42:17, Mizrach, which means, it means from the east side, eastward, okay, eastward. If I click it down in the bottom, it comes out eastward. I'm going to blow it up.
Right, not rising. It does not come out as rising.
Right. That's italics here, even in they put it in italics to show you it doesn't have it. And look at how it chain links to Hebrew, and they put Helios or Anatoli, which is in Helios. Okay, so it's basically east side or eastward. Okay, and then it says the Shemesh even unto the going down. Now the word down is 3996, and is not Mabu, it's
Mabo.
Mabo in Hebrew. Okay, I made a mistake the first one. I said Mabu, but it's really Mabo. Okay, and it's, as we look at it, it is the entrance, a place or the act, west towards coming and going, or going, cometh or going, coming, as entering, an entrance, entry. Okay? But when you can't use the word down, because in Greek and Hebrew they had a different word for it. And it's nowhere in, of course, in Hebrew here in Malachi. We were talking about something in Hebrew. All right? So by showing you this, it's giving you a better understanding of what's being read here, that instead of going down, he is entering an entrance, entry, westward. So the Shemesh, going through an entrance westward. The same, my Shem shall be great among the Goyim, not Gentilis. That's a young Greek, that's a Greek Latin word, but it doesn't even mean it. It's pretty supposed to be ethnos. If you go throughout the Brit Kadasha New Testament, it's ethnos, meaning another ethnic race besides Hebrew. Okay? Right. So Gentilis was added by the Germanic translations into the King Imus from the Geneva translations. They added this pagan word. It's actually a feminine part of her body, and I haven't really figured out why would they use a Gentile or Gentilis as a word for a stranger. I guess a stranger from the womb, or a separate ethnic background from the very womb of a woman. Who knows why they use Gentilis, the Catholic Church, and it's supposed to be ethnos in Greek, or goy, or ger, or goyim in Hebrew. Okay? As we showed you in the OJ translation, they use the word goy, or goyim. So it's not, it's westward. It is entering a gate, an entrance, entry. It's where it goes, not going down, because the word down is a young word in the English language. Okay? Let's go now to, let's see here, Numbers 21, 11.
You know, in the Spanish, brother, it doesn't have the word. It doesn't have the word rising either.
It doesn't?
No, it says porque desde el sol, porque desde donde el sol nace. That means from where the sun is born. When when you first see it, where it comes out. Doesn't say from
rise,
but it's literally, the word is saying from where you see the sun coming out. It didn't say rising. It didn't have it at all. I just want to throw that in there.
That's good you threw that out. That's a confirmation that even in other languages they won't say that.
Right.
I wonder what Chinese, since Chinese use, they don't use Yahushua or Yesha, they use Yesha, I think.
Because in Spanish, it wouldn't, if you put the word rising there, it wouldn't make sense. It doesn't make sense in that context.
In Spanish.
Right. So that's why it's not there. It says from where the sun is birthed at, or from where you see it out.
The first beginning, birthing out, forward. Like a new day.
Right.
Nuevo.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Okay, where were we going, brother? I'm sorry.
We're going to Bimidbar, Numbers, chapter 21, verse 11.
And they departed from, what is that?
Oboth.
And camped in Ayi Ha-Abrim, in the wilderness which is east of Moab, toward sunrise.
Now, we know sunrise is 12 to 13, 400, but they stuck this word. And this is ISR, and we forgive them for doing that, because all they did is translate from King James to a clean, good Messianic version. Now, in the OJ, it says, and they journeyed from Ovot and encamped at Ari Ha-Abraham in the Midbar, which is before Moab, toward the Misrach Ha-Shemesh, the sun, right, the Mizrach. So I want to show you in King Imus. Now, there is 3 words here, toward the sunrise. Okay? Mizrach. And then they got Shemesh. So the word rising is a morphine with the word sun, and we know the word sun is from the year 900, and then rising is from 1300. Actually 1350 and 1300. So, but in the Hebrew is Shemesh. So he says, before Moab, toward Shemesh. All right? So it would be eastward. Well, they have Easter sunrise worship. They have Easter sunrise, Ishtara, sunrise worship on the same calendar with Ostara or Ishtara or Ishtara or Ashtar. You know, in the same calendar date. It's a fake date of this resurrection of a Messiah, and so it is dealing with Easter sunrise. They want to bring all that together, and also eventually they brought their ball thing together. Now, in Joshua, chapter 1, verse 15. I can flick it to the Hebrew, but most of you are not going to be able to read the Hebrew, but I can turn it to you for you can see it. Okay? And what did they do again? It's Mizrak towards Shemesh. The word rising does not exist. It's only the word toward and Shemesh, toward sun, toward the sun. Servant gave you on this side of Jordan toward the Shemesh. So the word rising is a filler English word, and of course, brother keeps showing you that the word rising is not even in Spanish. You know what I mean? It's not there either. So they got this fake image they have been giving us. Okay? Let's look at, for fun, I got too many to do, but let's look at in the same book, Joshua chapter 13, verse 5. From the area of Biblos. What? Let me go back. The land of the Gibeonites. You see this, brother?
Yeah.
Because we know Biblos is a goddess. The Bible, the word Bible is Biblos, which is in Lebanon. Of the land of Gibeonites and all Lebanon. We know Lebanon is the goddess of Lebanon at one time was Biblos. And they call it Gibeonites here. Now, I'm going to go back to the OJ, the Jewish translation, and look what they say. Oh, man, I clicked, excuse me. I went to...
So, that's very interesting.
We discovered something here.
How it says, and the area
of Biblos, all the Lebanon, toward the rising of Shemesh from Baal Gad under Mount Hermon unto Levo Hamat. So they're showing you the city of Biblos, how it was hidden.
Right.
The Jewish translation don't care about it, but they put it there, Biblos, the pagan deity of Lebanon. Let's see in King Amos. Let me write that down. I'm going to write that down, man. Because they're reading the correct Hebrew, they put Biblos. And all live on toward the rising of the Shemesh. But here in the Hebrew translation, they happen to be revealing to us that it's the goddess Biblos. You can go online right now, and you can do that playing around later on. You can go online and go to the temple of the Biblos, which they made the word Bible, which is not in your scriptures till I opened it up here and found it. I used to tell people the word Biblos is nowhere in the scriptures, but it's hidden in the Hebrew language. Now watch. I'm going to turn it into a Hebrew translation. Let me go to Greek, back to King Amos, and it's 1382. So let me go to Hebrew.
You know, even the Spanish is calling it Giblos.
Is that right?
Yeah, even in the...
Now, you could go online, people, and you could go to the city of the goddess Biblos, which is the goddess Bella rules. They say Bella rules. not Isabella, but Bella rules, okay? And the foundation of the goddess, that stone that they're saying in Lebanon, is still there. But the deity has been destroyed by Muslims, okay? So getting back to the topic, brother's he's on a search too. In the land of Byblos and all in Lebanon, toward the rising, and we know it's toward, and the word sunrise does not exist. It's Mizrak, meaning coming eastward, right? Toward, eastward, Shemesh. Eastward, Shemesh. Eastward, Shemesh. Okay? 81:21, Shemesh. Which is, by implication, east ray. East side, eastward. All right? Or eastward or westward. Okay? From Balgad, which we know is the deity of fame and fortune. Okay? Look at it right here. 1171, Balgad. That's dealing with the deity God. You can see it right here. I'm going to click it for you. In the Hebrew number 1171, you can see it right here. Ball of fortune, Balgad. And if I were to go to Blue Letter Bible Translation and I click Gad, he would say good, good, good. It would repeat it on Blue Letter audio speak on for you. Okay, that's where we discovered the GODD, and the GOTT is through that Blue Letter, and then it helped us link into the Hebrew and see that. But it's the deity of fortune. That's what's on the dollar bill, the deity of fortune. That's why it's on money. You know,
right?
That's the one people trust in. In the mighty one they trust of the dollar bill. The border turned westward to Aznoth Tamar, and went out from there toward Hagot, and reached to Zebulun on the south side of Asher, on the west side, and ended at Yehuda by the Jordan toward the sunrise. Now we're going to look at that. Again, toward, which is, we know toward is Mizrak, which is eastward, Shemesh. There's no such thing as sun rising or sun setting. It doesn't exist. Okay. Now you see up here in 1934, and then the coast. You see all that filler word, and then the only word is there is coast. Gepul.
Occidente.
Okay?
Right.
And you notice that the people that are watching on the screen in the King Imus, that the word then is italics with a lighter letter. It's not in the original Hebrew, but also it's these words and the are not in Hebrew. It's only the coast. And it says westward. Yam. Yam. Not yom, but yam. Hebrew number 3220. Okay? When it's dealing with the west side, westward. Right. They should have used that word behind Shemesh.
Right.
It's there. But what they're trying to do, and I got many more. I got Judges 20, verse 34, Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 41, and also Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 47. These are all dealing with these
with
directions that have been transliteratedly incorrect.
Right.
From the original Hebrew. It should have been translated more correct. As we see here in this verse 34, there was a word for westward. You know what I mean? Why say rising? You know what I mean?
Right. And for rising, there was the word of coming out, you know, that it's not rising, but is being birthed. It's coming out of its place. Right. And we saw last week it's coming out of what we call the circuit, which is, circuit is an English word, but in Hebrew 8622, it was the motion cycle circular round revolution, like going around a record player. Okay, and I think the last scripture we're going to use is it's east side,
It's found 2 times in the Tanakh, and we're going to go to 1 Chronicles chapter 4, verse 39.
And they went to the entrance of Gidor, as far as the east side of the valley, to look for pastures for their flocks.
Now, in the Hebrew, and they went to the outlying area of Gidor, even onto the east side of Ge valley, to seek Merah, Myre, pasture for their Zion, their seed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now let's look at King Amos. And they went to the entrance of Gidor onto the east side. Now, as we look at this word, what is it again, people? Mizrach.
Right.
We're finding this word in there, from the east, and it's Mizrach, 42:17. This is only found 2 times here, but we were seeing it in a different form, all right, when they were adding it as a sunrise, okay? But it's really the word eastward, east side, eastward.
Right.
And they saw east side.
Sideward. That's what it's. If you look at 42:17, it says sideward.
So it's not going around a globe, definitely.
Right.
Okay. So we wanted to share these things with you so you can have a basic understanding about these words of Mizrach and all the different words. So when we start next week and we start making notes and showing you some things of the calendar of our revelation the Father has given us, we want you to come to that understanding that that there was a lot of added on information to misdirect us, mispoint us. It's like going to school and they're telling you that chocolate cake is vanilla. And then when you go to another country and all the other countries, no, vanilla is not chocolate, it is vanilla. But they give you the image of a chocolate cake and call it vanilla. Or they give you an image of a strawberry cake and they call it banana.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're giving you this image of a ball globe world, this round going down, going up, the way the sun, and all these fake it till they make it words, to brainwash us, to assimilate us, to prepare us for the Catholic introduction. Now I'm going to show you again. Here's that picture. Here's that picture from 1912, the Arctic Ring air view. Brother, and the Yahoo brought this home to me, and him and his wife from the library here in Texas, and we took a picture of it, okay? And we took it right out of the book and took a picture.
Right.
It's an old book. And then here's another one. This is from 1903. Showing you again. They got these little balls up here trying to make it look like it, but they show you the Arctic Ring right here.
They were still drawing pictures of the Earth like this because they weren't fully indoctrinated into the
It was a slow process.
Right, into the agenda. We might think that our grandfathers and everybody believed that. No, they didn't. They saw the world way different than how we see it today.
Right.
I think they saw it better than we did.
Yeah, this is a map from 1300 of a plate Earth with the ice wall all around it.
Right.
And here's a view of a brother, a very good view of a brother.
Oh, wow, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
That's neat.
He actually computer graphic, his graphic art, but he shows you, this is his image. He don't think it's quite as roundish. He don't believe it's quite as roundish, studying different information of the seamen doing their mapping of the Arctic Ring circle.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I'm some
real
of it can
suspicious.
ice up more than other spots, and then on summer round out to the ice wall.
Yeah.
A perfect round.
Yeah, that would be. I'm real suspicious of the ice being in a circle, and of
a complete circle.
Yeah, complete. Because Yah talks a lot of times about the 4 corners of the earth. about the four corners, and
Right.
then the earth, the New Jerusalem, is seen coming down as a cube.
Right.
So I mean, it's really.
Are we really? Is the
Yeah.
ice wall ring sitting in a cube?
Right.
Are we really in a cube? Because we know the word dome is a young word. The word dome is very young historically. And we look at in Hebrew when they talk about the shamayim that covers the top of the earth. It's really the same word we use for talit, a tabernacle, a tent.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Of course, this is the famous map that's stamped and sealed in the archives of D.C. and all the world. It's 1892 New World Standard Map. All right, and it has the stamp on the right-hand side. All right. So, but we had some fun today, midrashing. We were sharing the depth of the name and also the name to be applied. Also, if they would go as far to change the Father's name, the Son's name, locations, the word Biblos, these different were Shamayim for heaven, this German place, this location of the word heaven that we know is from the year 900 CE, and it's Germanic, and the ancient words was Valhalla and Elysium, of the place between the clouds and the arch under the Shamayim, the place of the Father. I know people would argue that they put down three heavens, the first, second layer, third. Well, I rather stick with the word Shamayim, plain and simple. I rather stick. If you want to say three Shamayims, use three Shamayim, but not use the word where it's connected to Elysium, was the place where Thor and the deity Thor, the deity Diana, and the deity, all the pagan Greek and Germanic deities go to, and you get to go and be with them in the clouds, floating around with the little harps, with little naked boys with harps. That's all Greek mythology paganism. It doesn't exist. Get it out of your mind, people. This is when Mr. You got Michelangelo, and then you have the guy from Pope Borgia that was doing the artwork with Leonardo da Vinci. When he was doing the artwork for the Catholic Church, he liked boys and girls, and he went to city of Alexandria and learned the artistic points of the depth and perception of art. And then he came to the Catholic Church, and they brought the Renaissance, which I'm not for the Renaissance. I'm against the Renaissance, because the Renaissance is a brainwashing system of bringing a resurrection of Greek mythology with all these naked children and naked deities in the sky, and they just renamed them. You know what I mean?
Right.
They put Venus. They use the vase of Venus to pour water on your head to baptize you in a bowl as a baby. To give you the curse of the water baptism of the Catholic Church, which is actually a spell that needs to be broken from you, that was put on as a baby. So all this mythology from Leonardo da Vinci and all these people that painted, and Michelangelo actually did a lot of the cleanup work and painted the clothes on. Because all this stuff was naked, they put the little leaves and stuff, and then they finally put the clothes on, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of stuff that has been put in the system of our minds, and there's still people in the Christian community, they got these cute little angelicos naked with wings.
Right.
And those are falcons. Those are spirits, genies. They call you jinns or genie. You know what I mean? So, and they don't understand this is not in the scripture. This is Greek paganism to the fullest, and also the Roman Apostolic Catholic Church. Okay? So, with that, you got any closing words for the people, brother?
I know we're going kind of, we're doing things before we get into the calendar so that you can see, once we get in the calendar, you can get rid of the globe mindset. That's just
right.
Not
and
true.
And I just pray that the Father with the Ruach HaKadosh would just touch you and minister to you as you do your own research. Because I'm going to tell you something. I love a lot of you brothers that are part of the Nazarene and also the Hebrew Israelites and some of the Messianic, a lot of the Messianic brothers. I love you all, okay? But there's a lot of things that you've been led and using the words of Catholicism and Christianity words, which is an adoption of Catholicism words.
It's a mixture. It's a mixture.
And you're trying to find the calendar. We're all sincerely trying to find the calendar.
But anybody who's doing the Shabbat and calling on the name, then you're coming out of that.
Right.
You know, there's things that we need to come out of also.
Right.
You know, so and when you get rid of all of that, then I believe it's a process of becoming kadosh and getting to a place where that Yah can say, okay, now that you changed the name, your language, you're worshiping me, you're doing my Shabbat, you're doing all of my feasts, and you've cleaned up all of the other mess. Now I can give you the Ruach HaKodesh.
And now I can give you more information.
Right.
But if you're doing /this/that, and you have mixture, he does not like mixture.
Right.
When he came down the mountain, Moshe came down the mountain, what did they find? They found Aaron with a fatted calf of gold, saying, "This is Yahuwah that brought you out of Israel."
Yeah, and they were praying. They were praying to Yahuwah through the cow.
Right.
They said, "Make us a mighty one that we can see." So they were praying to Yahuwah through the cow. They were not praying to in their mind. They were not praying to another deity. They were praying to Yahuwah through the golden calf. You know, so it's like, okay, well, today I'm praying to the Creator of Israel through God or through the J-Man.
Right.
You know, it's the same concept. It's the same thing. And the very first commandment says, "Do not put any other mighty ones before my face. Get them out of my face.
Right.
I don't want them. Get them away from me."
And don't call him something that he's not.
Right.
You know, he'd rather you hot or cold. If you're lukewarm, he'll spit you out of his mouth.
Yeah, you're in or out. Either
and he's
one
coming
of the two.
for a bride without spot and blemish that the bride knows the groom's name.
Right.
He's
And
not going to come with epithet, fake it names.
He's going to come for an Israelite bride too. An Israelite bride.
Right.
He's not coming for a Mexican bride or an American bride or a German bride or a Greek goddess bride or a Catholic bride. He's not coming for none of. He's coming for an Israelite bride who knows the name. In case she knows his appointed times. She's keeping the Shabbat and all the feasts. And she's going to the wedding rehearsals. She's there every weekend on Shabbat. She's there every Passover, every first fruit, every Shabbatot, every Yom Teruah, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot. She's making all the feasts. She's becoming kadosh. And she's washing her linens, and her dress is going to be spotless and white. And only then, and then only, can she present herself before the groom, before Yahushua.
As a living offering.
Right, as an offering. You know, these are all, so in order, wow, I got chills just saying that.
Right.
But I mean, just saying that. It's just, so it's a different concept than what we've been, trained to believe, how we've been brought up.
When you observe this and understand this, we gave you a long version of detail. There was much more verses. I did not go through every verses. Believe me, I didn't have only one or two to pick from. I had dozens for each particular word, and I only used a few because it would be very lengthy, more than 2 or 3 witnesses. You follow what I'm saying? So, and we teach by 2 or 3 witnesses every word be established, and we want you to be established in His service, in His sovereign service, to serve Him as the sovereign of the universe. Hallelujah. So go with Yahuwah, have a great Shabbat, have a great time fellowshipping with your family. You break the bread, just rest. Rest. If you got a pool, go put your feet in the pool and rest. Have a Shabbat. You know what I mean? And have a good time with your children and grandchildren. We love you and thank you for allowing us to come into your home.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.